Hi, this is Tom Sullivan. I'm here with David Parke II, the CEO of AAO. I'm happy to have you here.
Delighted to be here.
It's great to be part of OIS at AAO. It's been an enormous day today, 1,000 plus people in the room. And I just want to go back a bit into its origins. I mean, you became CEO about 10 years ago. OIS at AAO happened the year after that. It was a unique partnership, I think, to get a clinical society like yours to sort of buy into a separate organization, a separate meeting that would happen very close to its own meeting. How did you become comfortable with that idea? And what were you hoping, what were your objectives going into that?
You know, it really wasn't a tough decision,
No?
Tom. No. And the reason for that was that, first of all, I knew the principals. I mean, I know Bill Link, knew Gil a little, knew Emmett quite well. And these are folks of high integrity. And as you know so well, ophthalmologists are kind of a little bit entrepreneurial, innovative on the side, and this is such an important part of the future of our profession, trying to stimulate innovation, stimulate discovery, and you had it in the business community, but we didn't have it represented in the greater context of the annual meeting. And so here was an opportunity. We didn't want to control it. In fact, I had that discussion early on. You know, you guys will do better if you grow organically yourself. We want to be as welcoming as we can be, and we hope you're successful. And, you know, if we can help in any way, let us know. And it's actually been pretty darn painless for the Academy all through this, to the point where we view this as one of the most valuable aspects of the sort of the greater annual meeting. So we're delighted. We think we made a good decision. And when I look at a room like we have today with, as you say, over 1,000 people in it, energized, focusing on trying to birth the next generation of devices and drugs and companies in our space, it's great for patients, it's great for the profession.
So how have we done, and how has ophthalmology done in that regard in terms of innovation coming over the past decade? It's a good time to kind of take a measure of where we are. How do you think the practice, the specialty has changed over the past 10 years or so due to the new technologies coming forth, not only from this event, but from all the other great startups and strategics out there?
I think it's like most specialties of medicine. You go through these periods of rapid acceleration, consolidation, acceleration, consolidation. It's never a full linear growth. And we, in the last 10 years, have seen some things that have changed our profession. We've seen maturation and refinement in the refractive area. We've seen new devices, new drugs in the glaucoma space. The success of the first generation of anti-VEGF agents has now spurred everybody to look for the next generation of molecules for not just neovascular AMD, but also for dry AMD. And then you have stuff that sort of lay fallow for a long time as far as the clinician was concerned, dry eyes, certain types of inflammatory diseases. I think the next generation, we're now starting to look more and more at how is genomics going to play in this. And of course, one of my favorites is that we now have ways to look at clinical data differently. So I think we're seeing growth not just in drugs or in device or in pharmacogenetics or in big data, but in all the areas moving forward, not in their own little silos, but starting to work together.
Let's talk about the data, the IRIS project. What was the genesis of that? What was your objective and what were you hoping to accomplish?
The genesis of IRIS goes back to late 2011. And a couple of us were at a national meeting and looking at new ways to really let doctors know what they're doing so that when you know what you're doing, if you're not getting the outcomes you want, you can change and improve quality care. And Europe had been a little ahead of the United States in the use of data registries for a number of reasons, particularly having to do with government regulations. So, and cardiology had just started the first real electronic data registry, and we said, we think we can do that better. And we thought we could do it better because A, we weren't going to charge our members, and B, ophthalmology is a very kind of innovation focus. People like data, and we had the opportunity to do that, and we now have, fast forward 3.5, 4 years, the largest single specialty data registry in the world, bigger than oncology, bigger than cardiology, bigger than anybody else.
I do think it's the baseball of specialties where there's so much data you can measure in so many different ways between pressure or vision. You're right, there's not a lot of room left for interpretation. So that was the membership excited about that idea? I mean, this is a huge undertaking for a clinical society to take on.
It was a huge and an expensive undertaking. And we actually had forecasts that showed us taking 5 years to get where we got in a 1.5 years. And we were shocked at how quickly, completely, our profession said, this is our professional obligation to our patients, is to give them the best care. You give us a tool to make us better at it, we want in.
Excellent. Well, that's a great mindset to have. So with that information, with everything you've seen today and all the conversations you have with people in this room and past rooms, what do you see looking forward 10 years? What does ophthalmology look like in the year 2027?
Well, first of all, my crystal ball is really, really foggy. But having said that, I'll still say, I think we're going to see, as far as the practice, the structure of ophthalmology, we're going to see more groups of medium or large size. We're going to see integration and consolidation. I think we will see a little bit of movement of private equity into it. I honestly think it's not going to be as huge a deal as others do. I may be wrong, but it's been out there for a long time in other specialties. It depends on basically year-over-year growth, and if you get it, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So it'll work for some. It won't work for others. I think we're going to have, there's still a place for the solo ophthalmologist. I mean, we still have about 1/4 of our members are practicing solo ophthalmology, and they're very, very successful. They deliver good care, and they want to keep that model. So I think we'll have a lot of heterogeneity. People say, well, gee, is there only one model that's going to survive? No, I think we're going to have very heterogeneous. Scientifically, I think, first of all, everybody is going to be on an electric health record. You know, you can get around the edges now. You won't be able to 10 years from now. The other thing is that I honestly think, looking at, for instance, what happened today in the OIS meeting, when I look at the molecules under investigation, you know, the drugs that are, the devices in early clinical trial, I wouldn't be shocked if 10 years from now, the treatment of a lot of retinal vascular disease and of macular degeneration is very, very different. I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but I don't think we're going to be seeing, as a retina person, patients coming in every month for injections for the rest of their life. That's going to be good for the profession and even better for the patients. And I think that we're going to see continual refinement in what we do. You know, ophthalmologists are a little bit nerdish. You know, we don't like to have the score be disease 1, doctor 0. We don't like 98% did well. We like to push that envelope, and I think the drugs are going to get better, the devices are going to get better, the systems by which we use them are going to become more refined. I think this is going to be a high innovation sector for the next decade.
We'll be here following it, and we are glad to be along for the ride. So thank you for letting us join with AAO's annual meeting and for joining us today on camera.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.